Good morning. For those you have yet to meet, I'm JP Nolan. As John said, I'm both humbled and honored to have been asked to be here to share with you some of the issues that I had faced trying to access much needed assistance from the VA living in a rural setting. I served as both a soldier and later as a Marine, and I also served as a corrections officer and 911 dispatcher for Union County in El Dorado, Arkansas. My hometown is 125 miles south of Little Rock, 90 miles north of Shreveport, Louisiana, and 100 miles east of Texarkana, Texas. I believe you would be hard pressed to find a more rural setting. Due to injuries that I received while in the military, I was a participant in the TOPS program from 2010 through 2011. Even though I received care from his work, I never had the opportunity to meet Dr. Fortney while he was in Arkansas. That only happened earlier this year here in Seattle. The surreal feeling of meeting someone who has designed and implemented a program that has so impacted not only my life, but many others will never leave me. And this brings me to the TOPS program. My original diagnosis of PTSD came in 2007. Just the weight of my diagnosis was debilitating. From 2007 through 2010, my LCSW Joe Hines and Dr. Tim Kimbrell worked with me in an intense and often futile effort to address the wide range of PTSD symptoms. During this time, I experienced intense hypervigilance, severe sleep deprivation, and a host of other symptoms, including major depression. I had a complete lack of vision in regards to my future. My course of meds during this time was ever evolving, so the concern over the issues of side effects and symptoms merging into separate and new issues entirely was overwhelming. Most nights, I only slept an hour or two. The additional stress of marriage, fatherhood, and running my own business in conjunction with a constant red tape and delays from the VA were crushing. It was at this time that Joe Hines recommended I engage in TOPS. The importance of this is paramount. The providers must know of every tool available to them to assist their patients. Joe did exactly that. At this juncture, I was at a most vulnerable point. How do you get someone to open further when all they want to do is avoid and turn inward? I told myself that I would speak to this person once, and that if I felt that they did not truly care, or if this was another just feel-good exercise, I was out. I received my call, and on the other end was Sonny Ackerman. There simply is no way to emphasize the importance of Sonny, not only as a skilled provider, but as my case manager. After my initial conversation with Sonny, I felt the TOPS was worth a try. While engaged in TOPS, Sonny was always compassionate, but extremely efficient. Even at my worst, Sonny could get what information she needed in a timely manner, while never making me feel rushed or that she was in any way disingenuous. In conjunction with Dr. William Mark Moore, who guided me through CPT, I began to slowly learn techniques that I still use today, especially today. My biggest misconception about PTSD was that it could be cured through medications over time. I'm sure this is a common belief, but nothing could be further from the truth. Some may be able to function better than others, but we will never be the people that we once were or could have been. Most of us have destroyed family relationships, friendships, and our quality of life will never be fully regained. Sonny and Dr. Moore showed me the techniques that have been augmented by Joe and Dr. Kimbrell continually. After almost a decade, I have come to trust their judgment over my well-being. While TOPS was an important step for me to try and cope with my PTSD issues, my symptoms still continue. I still struggle with sleep. My emotions can and do overwhelm me. But I refuse to allow PTSD to define or end me. In November of 2014, John reached out to me in reference to a PCORI grant to expand TOPS. This brings me to the Spirit Consumer Advisory Board. The Spirit Consumer Advisory Board truly embodies collaborative care. Researchers, providers, advocates, and patients who until now had little or no voice in the processes of their care benefit. This approach allows three important things. It empowers the providers, it enlightens the patient, and it has the potential to greatly increase the efficiency of the process. As providers come to more closely consult with and include the patient in the more wasteful issues and redundancy can be eliminated to make the process easier and more efficient to navigate. The Spirit CAB is a diverse group comprising patients, advocates, researchers, and providers, both here at the UW and around the country. The CAB is also a very active group of individuals dedicated to the overarching goal of patient well-being. I stand with the Spirit Consumer Advisory Board. We stand because so many simply cannot. We stand to represent the men and women who, by no choice of their own, find themselves lost within or victims of intense trauma. We stand because so many veterans have fallen by their own hand, surrounded by a country in their debt, and loved ones who could not reach them, lost to places and times only they had been, yet could never return. To ensure that this epidemic comes to an end, you must dedicate this work, the work of this project, not only to identify the effective treatments, but also direct the continuation of this research. Only through concerted and continuous effort can change be effective. As the project evolves, there will be issues that will change the processes and protocols of Spirit. Never let these cause you to lose focus of the objectives or the human beings that the data represents. At all points along this journey, you must make patient navigation more efficient and available. To this end, the researchers and partner providers must disseminate the data for peer review and swift implementation. The intense vetting process by PCORI has proven the ability of Dr. Fortney and his team to design and implement a series of practices and protocols to ensure the safety of patients, while allowing providers an extremely flexible platform from which to work. PCORI saw the vision that Dr. Fortney put forth, and as a patient, I applaud them for their diligence and openness to new ways of research and patient empowerment. I hope PCORI will continue to seek out other visionaries and push all areas of the healthcare forward to ensure safer, more accessible patient-centered care. I thank you for allowing me this opportunity, and I cannot express to you the hope and validation I feel. I pray this feeling will flow through the Spirit process as it allows others to begin healing. I have no words to even begin to thank Dr. Fortney, without whom I might not be here. I must also thank Mary Piper, Lori Farrow, Deb Bowen, Johnny Mallon, and Saparna Rajnan, who have been incredibly helpful guiding me through this difficult and sometimes challenging series of meetings and calls. I again want to thank PCORI, who allows all of this to happen. And as I leave you now, I leave you with only one charge. Do not let this opportunity go to waste. You can save lives.